nothing to do with me. So I was like, okay, so
she shaved her head bald in the middle of her Whip My Hair tour, right? And I was like, oh.
I definitely had to forgive you and Daddy. It was mostly Daddy, because he was so, harsh.
The Smith family's days are numbered. And now Willow Smith is out here exposing her own father for messing her up with his very disturbing antics. We already know what Jaden went through, from Will force-kissing him on interviews, to Jada stealing his best friend to sleep with him, and allegedly there even being a tape of Jaden. No wonder he wanted to be emancipated from his own parents. And now it's Jaden's sister that is out here exposing their parents' crimes. Will Smith allegedly sold Willow to the Scientology cult after her early success while he and Jada preyed on their children's friends. And if Willow didn't force her father to give up control of her life, it's hard to imagine where she would be right now.
We made a very, very, very terrible mistake with our children, and we went with radical honesty. Don't do it. No, listen.
Okay, so most of the times Will Smith gets called out, it's for his wife embarrassing him while he just takes it. But this time around, he's on the chopping block for the horror he put his daughter through, all in the name of Hollywood. She was recently asked about her career and the success she has in it, and people couldn't help but notice how much she tried to distance herself from her parents. Nowadays, when reporters bring up Nepo babies, they would either acknowledge the influence of their parents or avoid the question altogether. But Willow straight up said that her current career has nothing to do with her parents, and she is basically self-made. But that wasn't the end of it. Willow recorded herself crying and losing her mind, only to caption the post with, "Who ate all the..." Like, we know every entertainer in Hollywood is a bit crazy and narcissistic, but does she actually have to be that weird, though? And people have been calling the Smiths' upbringing a social experiment because it looks like Will and Jada did everything but parenting. And according to Willow, that isn't far from the truth. She and her brother witnessed a lot of things growing up, but her life really turned on its head after she dropped Whip My Hair back in 2010 at just 9 years old. Willow went into music so early because she loved singing, but as soon as her father saw dollar signs shining, that was basically the end of her childhood. Will mentioned that from a young age, he promised his kids absolute radical honesty. Willow and Jaden could do and tell their parents anything without punishment. And in return, Will and Jada would also be open and honest with them about their open marriage and swinger lifestyle.
From really young with our kids, the deal was if you tell the truth, you won't get in trouble. Right? The only way you can get in trouble in this house is if we find out you did something and you don't tell the truth.
Wow.
And it's a mistake. It's a mistake.
Willow pointed out that Will used her quick success to push her in the industry. She was going to meetings and events all in the name of making connections, but it was really just to let the elites know that his daughter was available and ready for them. And this was a trade Will had to make, since he and Jada were reportedly doing the same thing to young men and women who wanted to succeed in Hollywood.
Weird things in their house, and young men have left their house fucking screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bashir Gray, left that house fucking screaming.
The only ones we got to hear about were Bashir Gray and August Alsina. But with what has come out over the years, Will and Jada used to host wild parties where all these old people used to hook up and swap these up-and-coming entertainers to test their loyalty. This was a constant part of Willow's life growing up. And when it was time for her to join, they normalized it to her as a struggle she has to face to succeed in the music business. No wonder Willow thinks polygamy is normal.
partners at the same time. This has been a journey for you, Miss Willow. How did you make this decision?
With polyamory, I feel like the main foundation is the freedom to be able to create a relationship style that works for you, and not just stepping into monogamy because that's what everyone around you says is the right thing to do.
Right.
So I was like, how can I structure the way that I approach relationships with that in mind?
Yeah.
Also, doing research into polyamory, the main reasons why monogamous relationships or why marriage why divorces happen, is infidelity.
Yeah. For somebody like me, it feels like it's really all just centered around
I mean, I'll give you an
sex.
example. Let's say you haven't always been the kind of person that wanted to have sex all the time, but your partner is.
Right.
Are you gonna be the person to say, you know, just because I don't have these needs, you can't have them either?
Right.
And who can forget that picture of Willow in bed with shirtless 20-year-old Moises Arias, an actor best known for his role as Rico on Hannah Montana. And a lot of people would try to say that it was an innocent moment since Moises was friends with Jaden at the time. But when Moises posted the picture, he captioned it Simba and Nala, who were romantic leads from The Lion King. So was this really an innocent picture? Or did he announce their relationship only to backtrack when he saw the backlash? And what makes it even more messed up was that around the same time this was happening, Willow was also introduced to adult movies by her parents. And all of this led to Willow forming an addiction to adult content.
Jada would watch at the houses. She had her laptop. She would stick her hard drive in, right? Boom, and hook it up to the TV. And she could play whatever video she watching. So I'm seeing videos of her and Will and a bunch of some celebrities. So she's sitting down here watching, playing with herself, high as a kite, right? Not caring who's in the house, whether kids watching, nothing. She's in her own world. So that's how I was able to see the tapes. I saw them, and I saw some things that were unreal, and I saw celebrities on the tape.
Nothing to do with me. So I was like, okay, so she's just scrolling, and when I tell you I saw some of the most hardcore pornography on Tumblr.
Mom. It really wasn't.
It was hard.
It really wasn't.
It was
She's
hardcore for you
overreacting.
to be seeing at freaking 11 years old.
Tumblr,
I could not believe that.
No,
I was
Tumblr
like,
is more of the
kids.
artistic aspect of it, though.
Not what I saw. Well, nothing artistic about that. I saw some hardcore
I don't remember
stuff.
what you saw, but
Yeah,
what
well,
I know
remember graphically.
what I
was
know
like-
about Tumblr.
I was like, Willow, and she was like, don't even pay attention to it. We're getting to my page.
And not even that, Willow said she was also introduced to substances too. You see, her parents talked about how she relied on psychedelic substances to battle her depression. When they saw how well it worked, they gradually introduced it to the rest of her family. Jaden was the first to try it out of curiosity. Then Willow joined in on the fun, and none of them stopped using it. Whenever there's conflict or they're stressed out, Jada talks about how they would take the substances together and that it was a great bonding experience for the family.
It started as pure curiosity.
Yeah.
The 23-year-old added that he started using the drugs out of curiosity, and doing so led to his understanding of what ego was for the first time.
It was always in my head talking, telling me what I was and what I wasn't. And for the first time, I had like a ego dissolution where I was like, that was the moment that really changed me.
But when you are dealing with the stress of Hollywood and the music industry, magic mushrooms is typically the first step to getting addicted to something stronger and way more dangerous. And once her parents opened the door for Willow, she really just fell through. Before she knew it, Willow moved on from mushrooms to a weed addiction. And when that wasn't enough, she began to rely on alcohol and substances to make it through the day. She said, "I was deeply heartbroken. I was getting blackout drunk, and I was just in a bad spot. I was in a bad place."
Haven't been smoking marijuana for 3 months.
Just
Specifically
none at all.
THC. When I stopped smoking, it was a really big eye-opener, because I was like, there are so many people people that I called friends in my life who just kind of
Drifted away.
you know.
And then, we also can't forget how deeply involved Will and Jada are with Scientology and all the cult-like rumors that's been going on about the organization for a while now. At the start, both of them denied ever being Scientologists and claimed that while they knew about the teachings of Scientology, they weren't full members. But around 2008, Will and Jada started this private elementary school called New Village Leadership Academy, and they enrolled both Jaden and Willow in the school. At the time, Will said that they wanted to create an environment where children had fun learning. However, when they tried to get other kids to attend, the school quickly got exposed once parents found out that it was based on Scientology. The teachers got exposed as full-blown Scientologists who used Ron Hubbard's study technology as the school's guiding curriculum. Will and Jada tried to pass it off as just another failed business venture. But the former principal of the school, Jacqueline Olivier, revealed just how much brainwashing was going on. She said, "You couldn't interact with the kids until you'd taken a bunch of Scientology courses." And they were still supervised by the Scientology teachers to make sure they didn't make any mistakes using study technology. Jacqueline also talked about how Jaden and Willow only interacted with Scientology teachers, and they were doing qual and debugging the entire time. This meant that they were constantly taking Scientology courses and were being audited and controlled until they knew it by heart. If their learning, or spiritual progress as they like to call it, is slow, these teachers would claim that it was because of Willow and Jaden's mistakes or transgressions. So, the process would start all over again until their attitude is corrected. Remember, Willow would have been 7 years old when her father put her through the ringer with Scientology, the same society that adults have struggled to survive. And can you imagine what that must have looked like for a literal child?
The thing I think that's messing everybody's head up is that all of this wild shit is going on right in front of their faces, and they're not understanding how they're missing it. Yet it's all happening right in front of their face. Like the Willow conversation, the Smith family conversation that we had.
In your face.
In your face.
Like, put out in your face.
I mean, there's multiple videos of this man forcibly trying to tongue kiss his son.
It's no wonder why Willow suddenly shaved her head and tried to put a stop to it all.
And she looked at me, I'll never forget the look in her eyes, and she was like, "It doesn't matter to you that I'm finished, Daddy?" And I was like, "Well, yes, sweetie, it matters, but you can't be finished." And she was like, "Oh, okay." So we go back to the hotel, and Jada had just left, so I'm there. It's my first night of daddy duty. And she came out the next morning, and she had shaved her head bald. In the middle of her Whip My Hair tour, she shaved her head bald.
And as much as Willow is still weird all by herself, the internet is finding it hard to blame her, considering that she survived growing up with Will Smith as her father. I see Willow, I see Bieber, same energy. These celeb kids are living drama we'll never fully know until it's too late. Will and Jada are hands down the worst celebrity parents. Thank God Will's first wife keeps her son away from all of Hollywood's mess. Will and Jada are sick as hell. Do you think Willow is just your typical Nepo baby? Or do you think Will and Jada's parenting also have something to do with the way she turned out? Sound off in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe. Bye, baddies!